What do you strongly suspect but have no proof of? That a relative is a CIA agent. She was in the Peace Corps, Vietnam era. Ever since she's been a world traveler, somehow able to drop her work and go hiking the Spanish version of the Appalachian Trail or otherwise go to exotic locales. Sometimes she came back with injuries. I fell as we were climbing some rocks. Her son is in the agency as an employee, not a spy, and he's married to a CIA translator. I believe my grandmother was a serial killer. She was married 7 times, each ending in a sudden death. She died in the 1980s, but everything is still suspicious and no one seems to know anything. I did find an article about her when she came to the US where her first husband died defending her after her ex-boyfriend climbed in her window in New York City. I also found evidence of her having been in prison before coming to the US. The Kardashians usually wear solid colored clothing because it's easier for them to Photoshop. Excellent observation. That there is something seriously wrong with me and people aren't telling me about it. I feel I have some sort of serious mental disability, personality disorder, or even some slight retardation, and no one will acknowledge it or admit it to me. I also sometimes feel like this. One of the most outlandish thoughts I have related to this is that I perceive reality wrong, and when I'm in public people are always wondering whether there's something wrong with me. My phone isn't really at 100% when it tells me it is. If you go to settings to battery to service, it shows you how much percentage your phone actually has when it says 100% compared to when you first got it. I work for a call center for the marketplace in the US. There was no interview, barely any training, super high turnover, and super low morale. None of their decisions make sense. The entire operation almost feels like it's trying to work as poorly as possible, so everyone hates it. That the ginger ale at this diner I go to every day is just Coke and Sprite mixed together. It is actually not unheard of for ginger ale to be swapped out for the Coke Sprite combo. They are just counting on you not noticing. Source: used to work in the service industry. Some zoos have empty exhibits and just claim the animal is in there, you just never see them. Somewhat unrelated. I was just thinking how cool a nocturnal zoo would be. Only open at night, and they specialize in species that only are awake at night. That'd be sweet. Probably no business, but cool nonetheless. That a lot of businesses in my hometown are just money laundering operations. 25 nail salons in a town of 70,000? 3,000 square foot DVD rental shop in the best block of downtown where commercial rents are very high? Dozens of $10 barber shops sitting empty all day but remaining open? Red flags all around. That the majority of Reddit is bots. It's remarkable how many posts' top comments are just old posts' top comments. There was a post on somewhere that did actual research about it and proved that a large majority of the PPL on Reddit were just bots karma whoring. Toddler pageants are just dog whistles for pedophile rings to operate in the background. I wish I had stayed ignorant to this idea for the rest of my life. Queen Elizabeth will probably live up to 120 years and longer. She is one of the best fed and most cared person on earth. If we invented something for immortality, she likely took it already. So did Betty White then. That Apple invented the AirPod meme. I think most companies invent memes about their products in order to sell more. That my English teacher didn't read essays and based grades on how we were in class. My English class had motion-activated lights. It was so fucking boring in there that the lights would often go out. Our teacher would say in a monotone voice, "Move your arms around to activate the lights." I think my great-great-uncle was gay, but lived in a time where he had to hide that part of himself. He never had a wife or kids. He traveled a lot and was very into art. I asked my grandma a while back if she thought he was gay, and she said he just wasn't interested in having girlfriends. That's a funny way for your grandma to tell you he was gay. That my wife is throwing one of each pair of socks away. Just be glad she isn't using them to wipe. Prince Charles will never sit on the throne. I believe he made a deal with Queen Elizabeth, that in exchange for being allowed to marry Camilla, he gave up his right to sit on the throne. Prince William will sit on the throne when Queen Elizabeth dies. Cornhole is a conspiracy by the insurance industry because they feel horseshoes is too dangerous. This is the kind of low-stakes conspiracy I could get into. That your phone and laptop mics are hot and sending data to certain groups. That's not what you say in your sleep. My SIL is a model and once took an elevator ride with him while on her way to a shoot. Apparently he's very forward and kind of creepy. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets me too'd. I don't have any proof, but I strongly suspect that Jeff Goldblum's forward behavior can come off as creepy to certain people. He's sort of weird and lots of people don't like weird. Bigfoot is actually a cultural memory from humans who migrated from Asia, and that's why there are stories about Yeti and Sasquatch. The actual creature though died out tens of thousands of years ago. Look up Gigantopithecus, it lived within the same time scale as humans and inhabited Asia. I like this theory, but of course, it's hard to prove definitively. The Statue of Liberty switches hands when nobody is looking. And if anyone is looking, she just flashes her neuralizer.